Okay, welcome to part 2. Let's check these sentences together. Make sure to make corrections in pen rather than erasing your mistakes. You want to be able to go back and see your mistakes so that you can avoid making them again, and so that you have a way to prove to me in class that you actually tried it before skipping ahead to the answers. Number 2, we do not want the subjunctive here because we have a trigger, but we don't have two clauses and we don't have two subjects. So we're just going to use the infinitive. Le irrita comer con una persona vulgar. 3, we do have all three things that we need for the subjunctive. A new trigger, siento, two clauses, and two subjects. Siento que tengamos malentendidos. Finally, for the last one, we have two clauses and we have two subjects, but the verb for to believe, creer, is not a trigger phrase. So we need to use the indicative in the second clause. Creemos que nos apoyan. So why would we use the indicative in this context? Well, let's see if you can figure it out by observation first. While there may be times we want to express our emotions towards something, there will also be times that we want to state something as an objective fact or belief. Well, at least objective from our perspective. So just like you did with the sentences at the beginning, now take a look at the section of your notes titled Statements of Fact or Belief, and take a moment to translate each of the sentences to English, once again circling sí or no after translating to indicate whether or not you agree with each statement. Then, again, make observations that you have about the underlined verbs in the main clause and the italicized verbs in the dependent clause. Pause the video while you complete this section. Okay, let's take a look together. Creo que mi mejor amigo es leal. Pienso que mi hermano miente. Pienso que mi madre guarda secretos bien. Creo que mi padre es amigable. Okay, so let's take a look together. Notice how it may appear as though the subjunctive is necessary in the dependent clause since we have two subjects and clauses, but the indicative is used instead. So what do we notice here? All indicative endings, once again, are used with the underlined verbs. And we also notice this time that it expresses what the person thinks or believes to be true. And like I just said, this time the italicized verbs were all conjugated in regular indicative tense, not the subjunctive like we're used to. So why would we use the indicative in this clause? Well, if the main clause states fact or belief, then the indicative is used. This goes back to our very first introduction to the subjunctive as a mood that expresses something subjective, as opposed to the indicative, in this case, which expresses something objective from the communicator's point of view. If someone states something that they think or believe to be true from their perspective, the message being communicated is objective, which does not provide the proper context for use of the subjunctive. Again, remember that if there's no change of subject, you will still need to use the infinitive. The verbs pensar que and creer que will not ever be used with the subjunctive. Use the indicative or the regular present tense when expressing what you think or believe. Let's try some examples by filling in the blank with the correct conjugation of the verb. Pause the video while you complete the sentences. In both of these sentences, there is a verb that expresses what is thought to be true or objective from the point of view of the speaker. Therefore, the regular indicative must be used in both sentences. Okay, now it's time to put it all together. Pause the video and fill in the chart, including the sentence translations. Be careful to determine whether or not the subjunctive is necessary in the dependent clause based on the context of each sentence. Okay, how'd you do? Let's take a look. Number 1, we have two clauses and two subjects, I think, and he is, but there's no trigger. Remember, the verb pensar is never ever going to be a trigger for the subjunctive. It always gets the indicative. Pienso que él me va a dejar plantada. Número dos, we now have all three qualifications that we need. We have two clauses and two different subjects, and sorprender is a trigger phrase because it's expressing emotion. So in this case, the second verb needs to be conjugated in the subjunctive. Number three, he thinks you are stubborn. Once again, the verb pensar will never ever trigger the subjunctive because it's stating what is considered to be fact or belief from the point of view of the speaker. So our second verb needs to be in the regular indicative. Number four, well, for this one, we don't have two clauses, we don't have two subjects, and we don't have a trigger. So we're definitely going to be conjugating in the regular indicative tense. Creemos que vale la pena estudiar. All right, that is it for the flipped lesson this week. Please be sure that you go to my website and click on the formative assessment and complete this using your notes to help you out. This will help me decide what type of practice that I should put you with when we come back to class together on Tuesday. Adios!